And we are recording, I think. Looking all good. Looking all good. Good morning, guys. I'm going to try and keep this a little quiet. Because Vicky's sleeping in the background there. She's probably going to hear me anyway, but there we go. Yeah, I just woke up early this morning. It's 5:42 a.m. And I was scanning through YouTube and I've come across a David Blane video. And I thought, a 14-minute video of David Blaine. I remember I used to be fascinated by David Blaine stuff, magician stuff in general, I suppose. But David Blaine, when he came along, it was like revolutionary when it came to like magic. It was a different type of magic, street magic, stuff like that, rather than presented on a stage like your normal musicians with top hats and girlies next to them and stuff like that. It was completely kind of urban magic sort of thing. Obviously, it's trickery. You know what I mean? It's illusion, it's misdirection and stuff like that. But I also think through my faith in Christ and stuff like that, and my reading of scriptures and what I know of scriptures and stuff like that, that there's a demonic side to these things. Even in the Bible, there was magic in the Bible. You know, like Moses when his sign when the sticks were thrown down and they turned into snakes. That was God. That was God changing them into snakes with God's own almighty power. And then you got Pharaoh's magicians who replicated it, threw a basket down, threw sticks down, and turned into snakes. But it was trickery. It was trickery or demonic magic, you know. From the Lord, it was not magic. It's his power. From anybody else, it's trickery. It's demonic, you know. Like I say, it's even in the Bible. So let's give it a go. Let's give a react to it. I'll show you quickly whose channel it is. It's a magician's channel. I'll only just subscribe to it now for this video reaction. It's about a year old, this video. But yeah, quickly. That's the channel there, Jack Rhodes. So I will put his description. Sorry, I will put his link in the description. I always do that. Say description for link. I'll put his link in the description if you want to sub anyway. But yeah, it's this guy here, Jack Rhodes, and I'll put his link in description. So, yes, shall we just get on with it then and start the reaction? I think we should. Oh my God, stop screen, and away we go. So, let's get the video up. Right, let's do it. Let's just get straight into it and start the reaction. But yeah, like I said, I'll put the guy's description, his link in the description. Here we go, video file. Let's do it.
How crazy this guy is. He's one of the greatest magicians of all time, who also does these super dangerous endurance stunts.
And that's true, he did. I mean, Houdini did some mad stuff, you know, getting chained underwater and all that. I mean, this guy has been stood in blocks of ice for days, stood on top of Nelson's column, or been in a tank of water for 42 days without food and water. Why 42 days? Is that maybe a demonic thing to try and beat Jesus because he fasted for 40 days? So David Blaine takes it a step further and goes 42 days? Is that not trying to mitigate Christ's power? I think it is. Anyway, I haven't even started. I've got a lot to say.
But where's the line between what's real and what's a trick?
That's real.
Exactly, because there is a lot of real stuff in it, a lot of trickery. I'd also say a lot of spiritual side to it. Bad spiritual side.
That's not a trick.
And how is this guy not dead? Because I've
I
performed.
mean, did he just land in a pool butt first from that height? I mean, why isn't his butt split open? His guts all over the place. Crazy.
A lot of magic in my time, and I know for a fact that there's clearly some form of actual danger to these stunts. Take his first one.
I was buried alive in the coffin.
I mean, this guy probably got going about how resilient he is and how tough he is because of what he has to do. Absolutely, I'd agree with that. But I would also say that there's a dark magic to it, a dark power to it. Some of the stuff he's done is impossible. I mean, some of it could just simply be trickery, but there's definitely some of it he's done. I mean, how do you stand in Nelson's column for a few days or whatever it was, people watching you with the changeover? You know, you've actually physically got to stand there while people are watching you, being suspended in the tank. I think there was a bit of cheating going on, whether he was passed up supplements in water, because he would have had to drink something, passed up supplements through his water. I don't know. But he certainly lost weight while he was in that tank. 3 stone, something like that. Don't know. I mean, it's a lot, either big trickery or a lot of demonic, dark stuff involved. Anyway, let's carry on.
I'll see you in about a week, I hope.
What's the worst that can happen? I don't know, maybe oxygen deprivation, vital organs failing, coffin malfunction, the glass breaking and him getting crushed in a very well televised manner. And that's the tamest one. Some of the stuff he's done since then makes that look like child's play.
It froze my.
Can you imagine me buried underground buried in a glass coffin with a load of earth going over the top of you and stuff, being inside frozen ice, what other kind of ice do you get but frozen? But you know what I mean, being inside a block of ice. Some mad stuff. And a lot of people can do that. They can lower their heart rate and all that, so they can take the cold or something. I don't know how it works, but a lot of people can deal with it. A lot of people train themselves to be able to swim in icy cold waters and stuff. It is mad how resilient the body can be. But like I said, there's a darker side to magic, I find.
Myself in a block of ice for 3 days and 3 nights. I stood on top of a 100-foot pillar for 36 hours. In London, I lived in a glass.
It was 36 hours. See, like here, he actually lost this weight. I mean, 3 stone, 42 days. Like I say, it was 42 days of starving himself to try and beat Jesus, I think. Nothing was ever said about it beating Jesus, but 42 days, 2 days more than Jesus fasted, 40 days he fasted. Is that not just to try and mitigate Jesus, what Jesus did, by fakery? Because even if he did go without food for that length of time, he must have had supplements of some sort put up in his water.
Box for 44 days with nothing but water.
Like this is...
Sorry, 44 days. 44 days, not 42. There you go, 44. Double numbers.
Some out there stuff. We ain't talking about your run-of-the-mill card tricks here.
Were there any of your performances that you thought were going to be very difficult that were easier than expected?
Nope.
Well, I mean, even if there was demonic influence in this, which I do believe there has been with some magicians, there's got to be in some cases. There's a lot of obviously misdirection that, but there's definitely a demonic side. I mean, they've even got the magic circle in it, which is a secret society group. Secret societies. Jesus was against. Excuse me. Anyway, let's carry on.
Even the small scale stuff is out there.
My advice would be not to do this trick.
And would I take your advice?
No.
Here's where it gets interesting though, because sometimes he'll frame these things as if they're a magic trick.
See how it looks like it's really...
Yeah, he will frame it like it's magic. See how it looks like it's going through my skin? See how I'm misdirecting you and making you think it's going through my skin or through my flesh or all the way through my hand, through sinew, tissue and everything. See how it looks like that, but it's not actually. When he actually did put it through. I mean, I suppose you can do this with loads of time, like gently putting it through a little bit at a time until you've developed enough scar tissue and it all heals till you've got an actual hole in your hand that you can't see. It's like an earring. And you pierce your ear and keep the piercing in. Eventually it heals up around the piercing. So you've got a hole there. So you can eventually push it through. I don't know if that's how he did it, but he certainly put these things through his skin, all the way through.
Starting to go in there?
As if it's an illusion, but he's actually doing it.
This isn't a trick. You're just sticking a needle through your arm.
And then you think,
He stuck a needle through his arm. You saw it. You saw it.
well, is he doing it?
But he couldn't have, because no one would do that.
And that, my friends, is a ballsy double bluff.
He would. David Blane's mad enough to. I mean, just look in his eyes, you can tell there's something not right with him. I mean, look at when he went on British TV, kept flashing up the hand with the all-seeing eye in it. Yeah. They kept asking him questions, and all he did was he just stayed quiet, looking all drawn at him and all weird. He's just going with the magic eye in his hand.
Some of the things you're doing, they're just insane endurance and mental exercises.
Look
And
at
then
that. He was literally getting his lips sewn together. I mean, it's so mad. So mad what he does. I mean, a lot of that, it's very painful. I mean, some people could shut out pain, but you know, it's a reaction to your body. I mean, you've got nerves, you've got pain receptors. Like if something hits your body, that's what pain is for, to tell you there's something wrong. You know, I mean, and he's breaking them barriers. Weird. It's weird. I mean, there's got to be some kind of help there, and not a good help.
other things you're doing are what you would consider magic. Yeah, how do those two worlds collide?
There might be some method behind the madness here, though.
The things that I like are things that look impossible but are actually really being done.
And to properly explain, we need to go back to the early days, back when TV magic looked very different.
But most of today's magicians, they're all
Well, hey, nostalgia, back to the 90s. Brilliant, love it.
old, they're beat.
Back when it was all big, glitzy stage illusions, proper corny, proper bleh.
If somebody could really do magic, they wouldn't really have big patterns.
Here there's no boxes, no stages, no sets.
That's what I was saying at the start. It wasn't your stereotypical or conventional way of looking at magic. Your traditional way of looking at magic on a stage, top hats, glittery, sparkly, long flowing coats and glitzy girls next to him, assistants doing this and that, and next my beautiful assistant, that kind of stuff. You know, the great Zantana, that kind of stuff. You know, with mad names. But this is just David Blane on the streets, pack of cards. You know, people were drawn to that. People were drawn to that, and probably came about at the right time, 90s, where a lot of people were influenced by this stuff. You know, it was just after the internet had come about. So, yeah, TV was still the main media then, but it was just as the internet was about a few years into it, you know. It was about to explode. It was about to explode.
Nothing, just people.
So if you take
David Blane, yeah. David Blane, yeah.
magic and you put it in rough, real environments,
Jack of clubs.
that's really interesting, more than the tricks.
See, I could do a classic trick, for example, the 3-card Monty, where the idea is you always got to keep your eye on the queen and you'll always be wrong. It's a lovely bit of sleight.
This is just sleight of hand. I mean, there's nothing demonic about doing sleight of hand. It's just trickery. I mean, you're still tricking people. It's still deception to a certain degree, but for entertainment. But then there comes other stuff, you know, stuff that seems almost impossible, where they're levitating and stuff like that, and there's nobody behind them. And it's not just a levitate where you're tiptoeing and on one foot and lifting the other, and it makes it look like you levitate. People are actually levitating, with nothing behind them, no strings, no stuff like that. Yes, there's a lot of that with strings. There's a lot of that with devices where they're stabilizing people where it just looks like they're suspended. But I do think there's songs where they're being levitated and it's demons lifting them. I really do believe that. I could be completely wrong, but I really do believe that.
Sleight of hand, a great trick. But really, why do you care? Well, you care because a trick like that gets a reaction like this.
Now you know what to follow. Okay, so I do this. Where's the queen? Here. No, you just. Hold on. Let's do it again.
See, Blane was the man who realised.
I mean, this stuff doesn't seem too bad because it's card magic. Card trickery. It's just misdirection. It's entertaining people. You know, he's not trying to get any money or anything like that from it. He's just showing his stuff out in the street. But this was a lead up to like the bigger and madder stuff he was doing. You know, it was just like it tapered. Started off from this little car trick dude going around the street and people getting interested to being bigger until it's a big media thing where he's doing these mad stunts. And now he's renowned for it, you know. I mean, he's getting older now, but it wouldn't surprise me if he came out with something different just to try and beat Jesus or beat God or something like that. Because when he did that tank above London, no food for 44 days, straight away when I heard the 44, well, I used to think it was 42, like I said earlier. I just thought straight away it's to try and mitigate Jesus, because he did 40 days. I mean, why 40? Why 44 days? Why? Like I said, I thought it was 42. It's even 42. Why 42 days? Why 44 days? Why, even if he chose 40 to be equal with Jesus? You know what I mean? But no, he had to go one better, a few better, and go 4 days over. Jesus went without food and water. I don't think you went without water, Mr. Blane. You had supplements in them bags that were being sent up that you had to drink, you know, that kind of stuff. But he finally lost weight. I mean, he was suspended there. There might have been some other kind of trickery, I don't know, but he certainly lost weight and he didn't look well when he came out of the ambulance, came out of it into the ambulance. But yes, a lot of trickery involved, a lot of being helped by the dark realm, I think. That's me. Sorry, guys, but that's the type of things I think, and my faith will lead me to believe.
That what matters most isn't necessarily the trick, but the audience and their reaction. Suddenly, magic felt very different.
He's made magic cool.
And to do that kind of street magic there, and to have a card stuck in the window, takes preparation as well. So he's doing street magic, but at the same time, he has to have these tricks set up to be able to have a card stick in the window of a shop, you know? So it's street magic, but he must have had some preparation to do, because that card wasn't actually being fused into the glass, was it? You know, so even there was a lot of preparation.
Oh my God! It's these tricks where, like, I'm right here, I don't know how you're doing it.
He explodes onto the scene like a firecracker of charisma. Bang! 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 And if you're thinking, well, that doesn't sound like the David Blane.
I mean, he fairly took people by surprise. He fairly did. He fairly came in, whirled around, and whirled back out. But he's still about. I mean, last thing I remember him doing was floating up in helium balloons a few years ago. Holding on to helium balloons, floating up with helium balloons, just holding on. I think he was strapped in and all that, but floated up a certain height in helium balloons. Now that's crazy. That's nuts.
And I know, good, you're still paying attention, because at the start, he wasn't exactly full of flamboyance, was he?
I guess it's magic, you know. I'm just a showman.
That's what I'm saying. He was really droll, but that was his act. I mean, look at the eyes there. This is the one I was on about. This is the one where he kept flashing his hand, not saying much, and flashing his hand. And it was the old all-seeing eye on British TV. I'm sure it was this one right here. But yeah, he was very droll. But that was part of his character. That was an act. But very demonic looking. Eyes like that.
If anything, he came across as a bit odd.
That's just
very odd. There you go.
The eye in the hand.
People.
There you go. There was the old seeing eye. I mean, at that point, he might have just been acting. But he might have been under the influence of a trance. He might have been under the influence of some kind of drug. I don't know. He didn't look right there to me. But there's also a little grin in his face. Is that an evil grin? Or is that him just messing about? Don't know. Like I say, there's still a demonic thing when it comes. Not all people. I think some people do magic. They stay out in the street or going to do it in people's schools and stuff. It's just doing a little bit of sleight of hand, a little bit of trickery to entertain. But there is a bigger thing when it comes to magic, the magic circle. And there's a lot of spells involved. There's a lot of demonic influence involved, ritual. I don't know. You know?
People think that you signed some type of deal with the devil.
But it wasn't accidental.
Even though I act like
musicians do it, why wouldn't magicians to get where they're going? Because magicians can be very, very successful. And this guy was. You know?
I'm not reacting when I'm done doing magic and you see people reacting. I live off of their reactions.
And it's not accidental how Blaine's act has changed over the years.
During early YouTube days, when
I live off their reactions. It's almost sounds like a demon living off your energy. You know, I live off people's reactions. It's almost like like I said, demon living off your energy. And that can be true in some cases. But like I say, not all magic's like that. Sometimes you just get your sleight of hand entertainment type. But then you get the deep, deep, deep diving stuff.
And all the tricks were kind of being exposed, I started thinking it would be really interesting to figure out how to do things that are real.
See, in the early days of the internet, before magic exposure was such a big thing, Blane was mainly doing pretty standard card tricks on the talk show circuits.
So you can see that.
Right.
Cards go right on top luck. See what happens.
But now, all his recent talk show appearances have involved some sort of weird, crazy stunt.
Part of their goal
now
is to obscure.
That needle, you seen it in his cheek, was definitely going through his cheek. Without a doubt, he was being pierced there.
To blur the lines between reality and what they do.
I mean, he was swallowing frogs, swallowing water, and petrol, gasoline, whatever you want to call it. And obviously they don't mix in your body, do they? The petrol wouldn't mix with water. You know, one's heavier than the other, different densities. So he's able to project the flammable out first to make the flame, and then extinguish it with the water later, you know, to manage to get the petrol to come out first, gasoline to come out first, whatever, and then the water afterwards. Now, it takes some doing to be able to do that, you know? What kind of help do you need to be able to do that?
Magic.
I mean, there is an argument to be made that him being a magician that does tricks does take away a little bit of the credibility from the endurance stuff.
The idea that, you know, last week I was doing card tricks and now I can hold my breath a really long time.
Yeah.
Just seems nonsense to me.
But you could also argue that his magic is improved by the endurance stuff.
There you go, in Penn and Teller, it just seems like nonsense to me. I mean, and they are big magicians themselves. They'd be part of the old magic circle.
That's what makes him special. It builds even more mystery around him because he actually is doing stuff that people think is impossible. He'll happily train himself to fly 25,000 feet in the air, carried only by balloons. So yeah, of course he can.
25,000 feet. Almost at what a Boeing 737 would go at, 35,000 feet, 10,000 feet more. I mean, up at them heights, I mean, isn't it really hard for us to breathe? I mean, you've obviously got to have an oxygen mask, possibly. But cold, freezing, I mean, wow. I mean, isn't that just scary, though? So getting dragged up by those helium balloons. Now, I know it's a lot of balloons, but can you imagine if you go up there? I don't know, a freak storm, bolt of lightning, poof. What the heck? Do you think you had a parachute? I don't know. Not sure. More than likely. I haven't got a blimmin' clue, but it's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff.
Swap a couple of cards around, the man's on another level. But David Blane isn't the first man to take this approach. One of Blane's biggest inspirations, and arguably the greatest showman of his time, Harry Houdini.
Harry Houdini, now he was nuts. I mean, getting yourself, I mean, come on, to the point of nearly dying. Well, dying in the end. Don't know what he died of, but I mean, come on. You should strap yourself up in chains, underwater, upside down, very disorientated. Underwater is scary enough, without it being chained up and sacked up and all this stuff. It's so nuts why people would want to put themselves through this, just to challenge themselves. You know, it's so crazy, and it's almost self-deletingism. You know what I'm saying?
He was a magician known the world over for blending tricks with reality.
I would study books on Houdini, look at images of him, and I think it started to make me think about magic in a different way, about real versus tricks. You know,
I mean, look at the guy who used to get swords put through his body. He used to get swords put through his body that would miss vital organs from the back to the front, swords all the way through. In the end, he died of that. But meanwhile, he was doing that all his life, putting swords through his body. That's crazy stuff. I mean, look, and then you've got him all chained up, padlocked up underwater. Crazy stuff, Houdini. The swords guy is not Houdini I was talking about. It's another guy, I can't remember his name, but it's crazy stuff nonetheless.
At the age of 5, when you see a man chained up sideways to the side of a building, straitjacket, looking really scary, you don't forget that. When I was 5, I said to my mom, I'm going to be a magician one day, and she went, that's amazing!
In fact, the more you learn about Blane's childhood, the more...
That's amazing. Okay, weird response.
More he makes sense as a person.
My biological father, he overdosed on heroin and died, so I never really knew him. My mother had a very
difficult life. Because it was just me and her, she put everything everything into her boy.
She was a school teacher, and she came from a very powerful family.
She grew up from a very wealthy Jewish mafia family. That kind of corrupt money, she didn't want to be a part of that. After a suicide attempt when she was 18, and I think she left her family, left everything.
When I was about 5 years old, my mother gave me a deck of cards, and I would carry it everywhere that I went.
We didn't have much, so the deck of cards meant the world to me.
And when David learned his first trick with that deck of cards, it was his mother's reaction that started it all.
I have heard this before, that when he did his last trick to his mum, she was so amazed, and her reaction, that's what he fed off. If it was an adult doing that to someone else, it would seem a little parasitical.
Trick, and my mom goes crazy. Like it was the best thing ever.
And she jumped around like she had seen the most amazing thing ever. I became obsessed with
Would she really have jumped around? Or just said, "Oh, son, that's amazing"? I don't think she would have jumped around. Anyway, yeah, so he can embellish in his own story if he wants, but yeah, did mum more than I do, that's for sure. But I can imagine my mum, just if I did something cool, I can imagine her reaction as a kid. That'd be like really, really, oh, brilliant. But I can't imagine her jumping around. But I don't know. There we go. People are different, aren't they?
doing magic and getting her reaction.
She was very loving, very affectionate. She always dreamed of me going, to a great school, but when she got sick with cancer, that wasn't an option.
The suffering that she endured and how she found so much beauty out of it, I think that sort of planted the seed to, what is there on this other side of enduring things?
When things are tough and they're difficult, that's when I'm alive. And it's that whole journey.
So he's saying it's all about testing yourself, putting yourself to the test, seeing what you can endure and coming out the other side. I wouldn't intentionally try to put myself through stuff. Yes, it builds character and that, I suppose, to try and put yourself through stuff. But why would you risk your life? Why would you risk your life, of which you only have one mortal life? There's an eternal life afterwards, and it's up to you where you go. Whether you go with the Lord or go with the Dark Lord.
Of pushing yourself to do things that you physically don't think you can do, that's the best part. I do believe that comfort puts a complete damper in being creative or getting anything done. I like that you can override your body with your brain to do things that seem like they're not real.
But this hunger for what's real has come at a cost.
In London, I lived in a glass box for 44 days with nothing.
This is the one, and this is the nuts one.
Nothing but water.
It depends on how long this one is. I wish I'd put the intro in with this one. I didn't think it was going to be too long, but sometimes over half an hour, it won't let me upload it to Canva to be able to edit it. So it might just go out raw, depending how long it is. We'll see. So if it's out raw, you'll see I'll have no music or anything. It'll just be me chatting through this. But if it goes out edited, it'll have a little bit of music in it and a few transitions, you know the score, guys. But if not, then it's just going out raw.
Heart wall, my bone mass index, everything decreased by about 33%. I lost 60 pounds in 44 days.
I think I went into mild organ failure.
At the end of the stunt, when I went to the hospital, I almost went into shock and probably could have died. That one.
60 pounds. So that's, to me, that's right. 4 stone would be 4 fours is 4 fours. What was 16? Blooming hell, idiot. So I'd say 56 pounds. Yeah, that's 4 stone he lost. 4. Yes, 4 stone and more. 4 stone or more. Wow. Crazy. It's nuts. All to try and outdo Jesus, I think. All to try and outdo Jesus, because I'm sure it was mentioned. I mean, maybe not by him, but at the time when he said he was going for 42 or 44 days, whatever, people would say, hold on, weird. Jesus went 40. Is it mad that maybe you're trying to beat Jesus? Don't know.
I feel like I never fully recovered from.
It did real damage.
I don't know, I wouldn't recommend anybody does that.
This man is not scared of hurting himself. If anything, he encourages it.
I wasn't afraid,
And that's not a good thing to do. Encouraging hurting yourself for anybody. People, don't hurt yourself. Come on. Don't be a prick. Have a day off. Sorry, guys. My bad.
If a shark bites my leg off, so be it.
There's a trick that's seen countless number of...
See, if a shark bites my leg off, so be it. Then you wouldn't be able to do your tricks or your magic or your whatever it is you do, David Blane. I mean, come on. If a shark bit your leg off, would you really be saying afterwards, if you survived it, so be it? I don't think you would. I think you'd be the most gutted man ever, thinking, why did I do that? Natural response.
Magicians get injured. The smash and stab.
Sorry, you might hear Vicky snoring in the background. I'll try and mute when I can.
Oh, yeah.
That's sharp.
This is a nail. With the wooden block inside of the bag.
Oh, I remember someone did this on I don't know what, it was a daytime TV program, like a breakfast TV news program, foreign to me, don't know where it was, but yeah, the magician got it wrong, and the presenter, he actually had the presenter's hand over the top of it, pushing it down with the presenter, got the wrong one, stabbed her right through the hand. Don't know, well, not through, I don't know if it went right through, but stabbed her hand anyway. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. If you're going to do that and there's spikes in there, make sure you get it right, especially if you're doing it to someone else.
It's a nasty one to get wrong.
Are you joking? No.
Even the thought of it.
Yeah, even Darren Brown got it wrong.
Yeah.
Many of the people out there didn't want this to work.
And Blane has done it before in his specials, absolutely fine.
They wanted this to go wrong.
But recently, live in front of an audience at his Vegas show, it didn't go to plan.
Get me on 3. 1. Uh-oh. 2. Ah! Woo! That wasn't good.
Yeah, that definitely hit his hand. See, he does feel pain. He said, ow. So you must feel pain.
Damn it. That was not great.
And what does he decide to do? He cleans up the blood and carries on. And our man David only decided he liked the trick after he hurt himself doing it. And before we look at Blaine's most dangerous stunt, the stunt that led his top consultant to quit on the spot.
David, we're not doing it again.
Of course we are. We're not doing it.
That's right. The bullet shot into his mouth. And this was true. He really did this. It's nuts. It's so nuts. And then his part of his team quit. And I don't blame him. I mean, I don't know if this is all... I don't know whether this is scripted, whether he actually did do it or didn't do it, but it certainly looked like it. And if it was scripted, they were acting very brilliantly. I don't know. But people that do this kind of stuff, and maybe who have some kind of influence, dark influence, maybe they're not so scared of this stuff. I don't know. But it's nuts. It's nuts what he did. Even if part of the trick was true, it's still nuts.
Wait, I'm telling you right now.
We need to thank this video's sponsor, One Ahead. In fact, you've just been looking at one of the 200 odd articles in the back catalogue. See, One Ahead is a weekly magic newsletter keeping 15,000 magicians, well, one ahead. And all the news and the basic content, that's free, but the good stuff, that's members only. We're talking instant access to the entire archives, including secrets behind your favourite magic shows, exclusive interviews, techniques you won't learn anywhere else.
Obviously, this is for his video, nothing to do with my reaction. So yeah, I'm not going to skip it forward because I don't know where to skip it to. So let's just carry on. Let him see what he's going to say, and I'll carry on reacting.
As well as a load of trick tutorials, which are honestly really good. There's a lottery prediction trick with a self-working method that's just mind-blowing. There's all sorts of goodies, but honestly, my favourite part is having really interesting articles emailed to you once a week. Every time I get that notification,
And not a sponsor for me, by the way. Just a declaration that what he's advertising there is not a sponsor. Yeah.
Bang, I'm straight on it. And you get instant access to the paid subscription free for 30 days when you use my affiliate link, oneahead.com/Jack. I'll leave a link in the description below. Just make sure you claim the deal before it's gone and you don't regret all your life choices. Now, where were we?
There you go, /Jack. There we go. Let's do it.
David Blane injured himself on stage again.
Do not attempt to duplicate.
Wow, see, this is what I was saying at the start. Did not guts in his butt splat all over the place. But wow, I mean, come on. You're like belly flopping on your butt flop, should I say, butt flopping from that height. I don't know how high it was, but it's very high. Into a shallow pool of water. Nuts.
Any of these dangerous acts that you witness starting to show.
Do you feel like the audience sort of kind of watches to see if something will go wrong?
I think there's a percentage of people that do.
As there is a significant risk of injury or even death.
Because I know I would be there waiting to see something go wrong.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh!
He falls.
Sorry, guys. I thought it was into a pool of water. It's into cardboard boxes. Nuts. Sorry about that. My bad. I thought it was a pool of water when I seen it at the start. Wow. Boxes. Numpty. Why don't you leave it to the stuntman, dude?
Falls 9 stories high into a load of cardboard boxes. He then...
9 stories. What's that? 90 foot? Ish. 81 foot, something like that. Crazy.
Suffers a, quote, horrific shoulder injury, but rather than end the show, he gets 5 doctors out of the audience, and over the course of half an hour, in full view of the audience, they manage to finally pop his shoulder back into place. Except 4 minutes later, it then pops out again. So Blane finishes the show with one good arm, which includes, by the way, a 10-minute underwater breath hold. Granted, you don't need your arms to breathe, but still, at this point, it's almost comical. And
but if you're in pain and you're trying not to breathe for 10 minutes, I mean, he already did 17 minutes breath hold, wasn't it? Where he passed out. Did a 30-minute passed out and then did 17 or something? I don't know. But that's a crazy amount of time. Even free divers don't do that. That's a crazy thing as well, free diving. Wow. Nuts sports. I mean, I don't call these sports. They're just insane. Don't know why they're classed as a sport. Extreme sports. Should be no such thing. They're just extreme. Not a sport. Because it's not very sporting. It's dangerous. Very dangerous.
Full credit to the doctors who helped out and this team that are always there on standby. Well, I say always. There was that one time. Let's talk about the bullet catch.
The most dangerous.
The first time he did it, it went wrong. Oh, Penn and Teller did it. Yeah, that's right. They did it first. But theirs was completely different, I think. Different type of trick.
Dangerous trick that's ever been done in show business.
And this one is dangerous.
12 magicians that we know have died doing the bullet catch.
The most famous one being a magician called Chung Ling Soo.
He was in London performing the bullet catch, and the bullet catch went wrong. The gun fired and killed him in front of a live audience.
And that, by the way, was an illusion version of the trick. Blane wanted to do it for real.
See, that's it. An illusion version still killed someone. That is nuts. And he wants to do it for real. He got a death wish?
Such a risk that I couldn't even get insurance.
My advice to him from the start was
not to do it.
Exactly.
And he did it for real. The method being...
Put a metal cup in your mouth, have a bullet shot into the metal cup.
And he pulled the trigger himself.
I think if you put a string onto the trigger, put a laser...
He's pulling the trigger himself, so no one else has got the responsibility. But while you're pulling that trigger and you're trying to be steady, you're moving your body. How is it? Wow, that's so scary, having to pull that gently and keep yourself in the same position. Wow. Snore. Vicky snoring.
On a scope, and then, you know.
Vicky's asleep and she still makes it on my video. By the way, guys, I'll be on at 2 p.m. today. because I'm going to get this out straight away as soon as it's done. I think by the looks of it, I'm going to have to put it out raw. It's nearly 40 minutes long so far, so I'll have to go out raw.
And of course, he had to do it live in Vegas in front of 20,000 people.
If anything goes wrong, it will be a disaster right here and right now.
The part that I didn't really spend enough attention on was building a better mouth guard.
Blane's lead consultant, an amazing magician himself, as he wind.
The bit I didn't spend enough time on was building a better mouth guard. How about spending time on thinking about not doing it at all? Stupid. Stupid.
He already had his doubts.
I have to admit that's something that I still don't fully understand. This idea of putting your life on the line.
And lo and behold, it didn't go as planned.
I'm very nervous.
You are?
You are? What a silly question. I'm very nervous. You are? Well, yes. You're shooting a bullet straight to your face.
Up slightly. Stop. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That's nuts. That's nuts. That could have shattered his jaw hinge or anything. That is so crazy.
The mouth guard broke.
This popped off. This whole thing came off.
My top magician consultant, he said, if you do this again, I'm not helping you at all.
David, we're not doing it again.
Of course we are. We're not doing it.
I quit. I'm telling you right now. Hate me. I don't care. I will not help you with this ever.
And if this is real and not scripted, then I don't blame him for quitting. I would not have nothing to do with that. Especially after that.
Again.
Now,
that's if it's not scripted, guys. You know, some of this can be well scripted. Some of it's real, some of it's not. You know the score, guys.
In some ways, the guy we've been discussing is the old David Blane.
Now that I have a daughter, I don't even want that risk anymore. Watching her grow and learn and support.
Now he's got a daughter, he doesn't want that risk anymore. Didn't really want it in the first place. It's all right, I like to do stuff daring. I mean, we all like to do daring stuff, but to really put your life on the line all the time like that, nuts. There's got to be something dark behind that.
Supporting that's my priority now.
And although he's still getting injured, maybe this is more of a calculated risk.
You did it!
This is all for you!
Because none of these stunts are going to kill him. Properly.
This is your what? Oh, Jesus, what are you doing?
But that's...
I mean, yes, he's chewing glass and that. I mean, that's still nuts. That's still nuts to chew up glass. I mean, there's injury, definitely injury can happen there.
That's the point, he's a showman. He's probably the greatest in the world right now. And there's clearly a lot of thought gone into this.
I think most magicians, including myself, become all consumed in magic.
I mean, he went big really quickly from street magician. I mean, was he an industry plant? Did he come up from nowhere, like they say? Or was he an industry plant? You know, we don't know these things. A lot of stuff is scripted. Some stuff isn't. But there's got to be something dark behind certain magics. I think.
You clearly love what you do.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't the paradox. Maybe this is what he wants. Whether you think it's real or it's a trick, maybe none of that matters. Maybe what matters is the fact that we're even talking about it.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Oh, well, that's just done. Excellent. Oh, well, excellent. Another video done. I'll get this out straight away. But I'll put it out as a premiere, guys, so you can come and chill in the chat if any of you are awake or if any of you are about. Obviously, if not, you'll see it as a video at some other point. But yeah, I'll get this uploaded and put out. It'd be nice if I could put some music in the background now, but it's 44 minutes long. It's weird because in Canva, from there I can edit a video to be about 2 hours long and upload it to the computer, but it won't let me put anything more than half an hour or 35 to 40 minutes, depending on how many meg it is or gig, whatever. Upload to Canva in the first place, you know, it won't let me get that, but it'll let me download from it about 2 hours worth of edited video. It's mad. It's one of them. I'm sub to it as well, you know. I've got a subscription to it. You know, it's all bloody money with these bloody stupid things, you know. But it does what I needed to do. Anyway, I rant over, BJ. I will see you this afternoon at 2 p.m. GMT, and I'll get this video out ASAP. Bless you guys, and thanks for watching. Love yous. Here the sun sets free, and it's free. She's asleep. Indeed. Ta-ta.